Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are still, of course, let me fix my monitor. You are still watching the Predator Alliance League 2020 Summer, powered by Globe Telecom, Twitch Student, and of course, presented by Globe Prepaid's Virtual Hangouts. We will be your shoutcasters for what might be the last game if FIT doesn't step up. I am Hiron. With me is for Zerk. Let's get right into this third game of this best of five. iTamaraws, they need to regroup, and actually, they put back Do. They're starting marksman here. They're Eddie Carey into the team now, so maybe that is their secret weapon. Do has been hyped up now by our chat. Let's see if he can make through this with his team, Teletigers, on blue side.
This reminds me of one of those anime scenarios where that one OP guy who's part of your group, your guild or whatever, was sent out on some really secret, mysterious mission, just comes back in the nick of time.
The cavalry.
Maybe Do can somewhat fill that role for FIT, but it's just gonna be a really hard, difficult task to do, because UST has been showing really dominating performances for the first two games, and it's gonna really take a lot of pulling together of mental strength and just execution wise for iTamaraws.
Yeah, but looking at the draft, Teletigers really respecting the Hecarim. And once again, iTamaraws, the analyst desk said they did not like the Syndra ban. They said it's not strong enough to warrant it, even in the hands of Pau. But the Akali ban is a good pickup, I feel, because whether in the hands of Power Dane, it's just such an oppressive force against the backline. But Renekton banned out by Teletigers, the Ashe banned out by Teletigers. See if iTamaraws responds with a Caitlyn ban as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard if they don't ban out the Caitlyn, because that basically automatically gives Teletigers supposed priority in the bot lane. And I don't think this is something that iTamaraws would want to give away. Especially for this third game, they really want to be the ones in the driver's seat early game. I would think that should be what the game plan is, but it's gonna be the Yone.
They are giving up, and of course, immediate lock-in of the Caitlyn here for Teletigers. So they respect the Yone more than they respect the Caitlyn. And I heard Alex Dest say that this Yone isn't really too big of a pickup, but they do have an alternative here in terms of Jhin for the 80 carry. But yeah, Caitlyn open for Teletigers is going to be really tough here. And banning out the Renekton might telegraph to us that they're planning to put Dane on a champion that really wants to get ahead early.
Yeah, and I think that's just UST's game plan in general, because they can win individually in terms of laning phase. The players themselves, they're really high caliber in terms of mechanics, so they really want to prioritize that sort of tactic. But this Shen getting locked in provides some adaptability for iTamaraws. But in response, Lux, we all know Crescio plays mean Enchanter supports, especially once with CC, and Lux has a really mean one from range.
I think Lux is a big reason why Crescio is at the top of those damage charts from all the supports in Alliance League. And here with a Caitlyn, this is going to make for an oppressive high range lane here. And with this Jhin, who is not really mobile unless he crits or gets a fourth bullet out, and it's going to be easy pickings for light binding if he's not careful. Silas lock in here for the Teletigers. It's going to be really spicy here. Can you imagine? That basically steals the Shen ult as well, if he can get a position to it as well. Let's see how iTamaraws responds.
Yeah, and this kind of gets the iTamaraws thinking. So they picked the Silas. Are we now supposed to play into that by picking champions which don't have really good ultimates to steal? So that's another mental play. So
yeah,
that's the third pick. Thresh being locked in from the iTamaraws. Lots of CC actually for the first three picks of their comp, and they haven't really revealed what sort of style they want to be running just yet. So far it's pretty good.
Let's see how the second rotation of bans goes for iTamaraws. Of course, as bot lane has been locked in, they only have to worry about the jungle and the solo lanes. And it seems like, okay, I can understand the Fiora ban in anticipation or in response possibly to the Renekton ban in the side of iTamaraws.
Yeah, and I mean Dane, he's been playing League for a really long time. In terms of carries, I don't think I honestly think it's really hard to ban out anyone specific on the
Yeah.
Teletigers. But actually Wukong being banned in response to the Fiora, so
What does this mean
that
for Teletigers' top lane? Like, what could
I'm
Dane be pulling out here that would require them to ban the Renekton and the Wukong?
well, the Lucian pick is still open,
Yeah.
so that's one. It can be a flex. Silas Lucian can be sent either
Mhm.
mid or top. That's definitely a possibility. What other picks are there? Kennen is also open. We
Yeah,
do
it's
know
banned.
Dane
It's
plays
banned.
a really it
Yeah,
just
it
gets
just got
banned. So
banned.
FIT thinking I was able to think about that. Mordekaiser. So
Hmm. So
I'm really
really
curious
dominating
actually.
top laners banned out here for Teletigers. That gives us a lot of uh, a bit of an idea of what Teletigers might be planning for their solo lanes. But iTamaraws with this Zillion with this Jhin doesn't really strike me as a go-to support for this Jhin here.
I'm not sure if this Zillion pick is the best pickup
Mhm.
for FIT because there's already a lot of safety being provided here, and it's not as if this Zillion's gonna be empowering someone really
Mhm.
strong at. But we'll have to see for their fifth pick. And
Yeah,
in response, though, the Teletigers actually decide to pick up
Camille.
this Camille, and we have seen Camille jungle, but not
Mhm.
not in the recent days. So I feel
Yeah,
that this is gonna be a top lane Camille, and there's still that Ornn. I would say they can
Let's see as
decide to
well.
send
Let's
Shen
see
in
what
the
their last
jungle.
pick
So
will be. So it is gonna
yeah,
be the
so it's
Lucian.
Lucian.
Okay. So this could be
It
Camille
could be
mid a
a.
consideration for Pau as well. Oh,
I feel
sorry,
like
sorry, no.
it's.
Yeah. See
I feel
the
like it's a
Camille jungle.
Camille jungle.
Yeah, Camille jungle here, and it's just the question of whether where the Lucian and Silas are going. But I think yeah, Dane Lucian. You did say it was open. You did say that that would be telegraphed by the bans of these really dominating top lane bruisers.
I feel
Yeah.
like it was weird though. The overall drafting order. I think they could have picked the
Mhm.
Lucian a bit earlier because it is a flex pick, but
Yeah.
it's too late to speculate now. Both of the team comps have
Ooh.
been locked, and gonna be a Jarvan to round out the team comp of iTamaraws. It kind of it kind of has the same overall theme of the drafts that iTamaraws has been running for the past couple of games. There's good balance, there's good damage, but uh, I don't see anything particularly new that
Yeah.
they're gonna be doing against the Teletigers.
Okay, so essentially Teletiger since has given us a switcheroo here with Pau on the Camille mid and Silas being the jungle champion here for Michael. Huh.
Huh. Okay.
That's a curveball that's thrown not only to us but more importantly to iTamaraws here. And look at this comp from the iTamaraws. It feels a little bit over the place. Zillion isn't really a champion that I see that I'd pair with Shen and Jin. Are they just gonna put all their eggs in one basket, which is Do, on this Jin here who has a lot of downtime in between fourth shots? Hmm.
Yeah, I think that in the damage department, iTamaraws is a bit lacking. So it's really gonna come down to trying to orchestrate really good fights for themselves. They have the tools. They have speed up from Zillion, Curtain Call, Hook from Thresh, Jarvan, Flag and Drag into Cataclysm with that Shen ult threat. But Teletigers' draft is still very characteristic to their strength as a team. There's a lot of strength there in the early game. Camille, Caitlyn, Lucian. I'm curious to how Michael will be um
Honestly,
running this Silas
yeah.
jungle, but overall, I have to go with the Teletigers here
Yeah.
for the
I just
third
feel
pick.
like their comp, while Teletiger comps are usually not well-rounded in the sense, they're really focused on the aggressive aspect of the comps
Mm-hmm.
here. I feel it really shows here. And as for iTamros, uh, this is all over the place. Uh, if I look at it, and it does give this with Michael running all over the map here. Once he's level 6 and starts roaming as, of course, as a jungler, there are a lot of good ults that they can take here, even if they aren't big initiating ults. They can get like the Stand United, they could get the Chrono Shift, and and I think those would be way more useful on someone like Caitlyn or Camille. And actually, no, the Lucian would be the great targets for those defensive ultis. And I think iTamaraws played into the hands here of the Teletigers.
I agree with you, Hyron. And just to add to that, Jarvan Cataclysm, it was picked as their fifth pick. Mind everyone, but eh, I'm not a big fan because if you look at all of the carries of the UST squad, Lucian, Caitlyn, Silas, Camille, all of these picks can easily get out of the Jarvan Cataclysm. So it's really going to be difficult, in my opinion, for FIT to come back from this already 2-0 in this game 3.
And conversely, that Jarvan ult, if stolen by this Silas, well, let's look at their main carries. Right, actually, their only main damage dealer is Jin. Jin has nothing to get out of there. No 90 caliber net, no nothing. Has to rely on flash, and of course uh, the lantern coming in from the Thresh. So really, really tough here. It's going to depend a lot on how they play this. And of course, Crescio, as we've seen the stats, very, very proactive of a support. Very, very scary. I would not want to face Crescio in a support role if I'm like playing a solo lane.
Yeah. Again, that's completely on point, and seems like the odds are stacked against FIT right now, be it in the already 2-0 scoreline or be it in the draft. But nothing has been set in stone. We have had instances in the past where drafts didn't seem like they were really great, but in terms of execution, teams have been able to pull it off. A not so good draft, but it's again going to be difficult because they're against UST, the arguable favorites to win it all this Alliance League. So FIT, definitely they have to take into mind all of the things the analyst desk has been saying in terms of playing confident, pushing their lead, and all of the things that come with that, knowing their spikes. Just they have to play perfectly. I think that's
Yeah.
one way to put it.
And that's hard to do against Teletigers, who is not only good at making advantage for yourself, they're good at forcing you to not play perfectly. They pressure you so much across the map that you have no choice but to make a suboptimal decision. And that's what
Right.
they're very, very good at. Like you take something from UST, they take something bigger from you, and that's been the pattern so far in this best of 5. Like with their 1-3-1, it's gonna be really tough here for iTamaraws to play perfectly. But let's see if Do is the deciding factor for this game, for this series, for the FIT squad.
Yeah, definitely. And Do It is their starting AD carry. So, in terms of synergy, I would presume that FIT would probably be able to function better as a team with him there. But like you said, with even with that in mind, uh, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's a steep slope that FIT has to climb, and I personally am not too keen with the draft that they secured for themselves. But who knows? There has been a reverse sweep before in the history of collegiate esports, so I'm not gonna take away that possibility from FIT.
Yeah. We're just gonna have to see though. Like we all say, execution is where it's at. Once the game actually starts, the draft is only the first half of the battle. Uh, really excited to see how this plays out. If this goes as a 3-0, I think that that proves one of the fears of the analyst desk. And how does that mean that which group were they in? Group B is just the better group over Group A, since Group A had UPD, which lost against How, which is in Group B, and now if UST finishes 3-0 against iTamaraws, that means that it was a very, very strong group, definitely.
And talking a little bit more about that, if ever UST does win over FIT in this best of 5 series, it's gonna be a very interesting matchup actually against How, because yesterday in their series against UPD, their solo laners demonstrated complete mastery basically of their champion. So pitting that against the domineering play style of UST, it's gonna be really epic. But here we are. We've loaded into the Rift in this best of 5 game 3 2-0 right now in favor of UST. FIT with their backs against the wall have to summon all of their courage, their energy, and play perfectly to get one game back for themselves.
Potentially the last game of the series. UST seems like they got spotted out by the flag there, the Demolition Standard, but yeah, it seems like right now UST is making more moves aggressively in this early game, but it seems like they're just going to get some deeper vision onto the jungle camps of FIT. And tell it's the name of the game here, especially if you're up against a Jarvan, which is one of the most high pressure AD carries early that you can find. Actually, it's also been a while since I've seen Jarvan in competitive or semi-competitive, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to see him here right now.
Right, Jarvan's a really strong early game pick. As long as you land your flag and drag, the downside to Jarvan, obviously, if you miss that, then basically your whole threat is almost just it disappears.
Yeah.
But look here, UST looking for an early invade question mark, but not really. I'm not quite sure what UST what they plan there, but it's just basically to deny vision, I guess.
Yeah, just make sure. I don't think Dane is losing CS from that as well, but USC Teletigers concealing information from FIT, but he will get spotted out by a ward around that Raptor camp. Yeah. So far though, just quiet. It's just really going to be where Michael and Yato go after their first clears.
I'm also kind of curious to see how this matchup in the mid lane plays out. I have personally not ever seen a Camille being played into a Zillion, but looks like Pau's fine there as Dane really pushing his champion's limits there
Double
in the
light
game against
binding.
Lucian.
Yeah,
Yeah, double light binding.
it's gonna be the
Infinity
play,
though.
though. Oh, the Deadly Flourish misses. Ignite goes through, but the death sentence comes in. First blood going to do. That has to be great for FIT's confidence, as that is first blood onto their marksman.
That's great for FIT. At the same time, Crescio playing a little bit overconfident there, thinking that the hook wouldn't land, so he decided not to blow the flash. I feel like he should have used it there, but yeah,
But
he got
so far, the rest of the lanes are doing well. Very standard result in the lane here between Jovan and Din. Just from the champions, this Shen gets really bullied hard. As for Pao and Ao, it's really hard to get a double time bomb going because of Pao's mobility. And still though, UST, they're not phased by that initial kill, that first blood. They are getting pushed into the turret, but they are constantly fighting for dominance. Death sentence come through, but no follow-up.
yeah, and looks like a small miscom right there. I feel like Du wanted to back, but Infinity managed to land the hook, but it wasn't in accordance to what Du wanted to do right there, unfortunately. But it's something that FIT has to work with. But the thing is, no summoners were really blown, no flashes. More importantly, were blown for the side of UST, and it's a small 100 gold lead actually.
Very, very small, actually. And I think most of that is concentrated just on top lane with Dane and a little bit on Pao. Actually, yeah. This is just going to be a reset. As long as Tenebrious ahead in CS of Do, I think that kill should be okay. Cult picked up by both of these marksmen, so they're really banking on getting value from that gold. Light binding Crescio going for the hook shot as well. Counter gank from Yato. Ignite ticking through. The tactical sweep is enough with the Ignite, and that is going to be Pao with his first kill of the game. Can they get away from Infinity and Yato, though? They're going to get double light binding. Lots of damage coming through. Turret onto Yato. Pao looking to finish off Infinity with the hook shot. Gets
nice
away.
play.
Here comes Michael when he has gone onto Yato. Pao finishes off this Thresh, and the next target gets snared by the light binding and gets finished off by the Silas. Teleporting rather late. And this is going to be UST with a clean 1.4k gold lead at this point. Jovan and his Lucian. Oh man, flashes away, but it's not enough. Gets shot in the back, and UST, after an initial first blood blunder, Crescio immediately redeems himself.
Oh no. That's kind of.
Yeah, I think oh no, it's the right term
That's
here.
that's the That's a way. That's one way to put it. Just as I said, that was something that FIT had to work with. That first blood, UST respond in
Yeah,
their typical way, and
yeah. Need it wrong
four
from
kills
Cresho.
to one. We'll have to see what
That's tough.
happens from
And
this.
two of that on that
Ooh.
Camille means the Sicilian's gonna have a hard time. Michael is gonna try and get some more damage onto Infinity here. Nothing burned, but it does apply pressure onto his Thresh. And with him out of refillable potion pots, charges, that might mean Infinity is gonna be a lot more careful with trading and committing in this bot lane trade.
Yeah, definitely. And just a while back, UST just demonstrating how well they play margins, and what looked to be a back from Pau and Crescio, they were still able to turn it around. Michael was on the way, get additional kills from that, and they're playing really sharp, and that's what FIT need to do on
Might
their
be in
own.
trouble. He could get death
Crescio.
sentence here. He is slowed down. Deadly Flourish does hit. The light
Oh,
binding is gonna keep this Thresh in
Chen.
his roots. But so much damage come through for this Thresh, but Crescio in a little bit of trouble here. The Twilight Salt here coming in from Jovan is enough with Deuce bullets to take him down. Deadly
Oh,
Flourish root him as well. Can he get the last? The Standard takes him down, and Tenebria is not level 6. Cannot get that last tick of damage onto Infinity, but this is Pau with 2 kills, extending his lead further. Oh, here, he does have Chrono Shift, has to be careful with the timing, and it seems like Pau will leave him alone for now. TP coming in for FIT, but the plate gets taken by Dan.
Yeah, and that was a good play by FIT to stem the bleeding, and so I mean, this just shows that FIT can find plays on their own. It's not as if they can't, and they did so already on the back foot. It was 4-1. They get 2 kills back. Now the gold lead has diminished a bit from 2K to 1K. So FIT has what it takes to win back one game. It's just that they have to do so consistently. As I say, that Jovan comes in for a taunt, but Dane being on this Lucian just basically allows him to keep top lane priority perpetually.
Ooh, really, really tough here. Look at that CS differential between Jovan and Dane and Tenebria. Looking at his champion pool, he's quite proficient in at least 5 champions. And that is something to commend on a marksman in 2020. As for UST, man, playing so clean, but the FIT is fighting back for sure.
Yep, and I just want to keep seeing more of this, more proactive plays, sharp movement, things that UST won't be able to punish basically. But when FIT does spot a window of opportunity, they really
For sure,
have to
Maya.
not hesitate and pull the trigger. And speaking of that, Yato is looming across the cliff, but he decides to back off. I think that could have been something right there because Gresho's flash was still down. They decide to pull back from that.
Yeah. It seems like, though, UST unfazed by that blunder, but this Drake will be contentious. It is a Cloud Drake, which is actually decently important for FIT. Stand United, Cataclysm, and Chrono Shift will be big if they get this. Can UST get something in return? If not, I think they're satisfied with just a side lane pressure coming through. I think the next target kill will have to be the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and that's a good play. Again, second good play being seen for FIT. It did go uncontested, like you said. Rift Herald has spawned, so we'll have to see who's going to rotate for that first. Second Drake is going to be Earth, which means the Soul Drake is going to be
Infernal or Ocean.
Infernal or Ocean.
Oh, Michael, though, can he hit the Abscon onto the minion here? Is going to steal that ultimate, that curtain call. Lots of damage coming through. Stand United as well could turn into a 4v3 situation. This Silas is going to get death sentence. Just connect! Bit connect, and that is going to be double kill here for Yato, and FIT striking back with a vengeance. UST, though, taking advantage of that, pushing the top lane. Pau as well. This turret is in danger. Tenebria could get dove at this point, but nothing too much happening there. I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger onto Tenebria, who still has heal and flash.
Right, and as much as that's how great of a play that was for FIT. I'm getting pretty scared for this Lucian top that Dane is on. He's gotten soon to be 4 of the 5 plates. He's probably gonna get first tower eventually. He has his mana moon up. He has almost close to 10 CS per minute, and this Lucian is gonna turn into a nightmare if it's not addressed by FIT soon.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's so hard to do this with Jovan really behind, and Yato is basically like 2 levels behind Dane. That could easily be a 1v2 if any of their crucial skills miss, like the flag and drag as well as DC taunt. So I'm not sure if he can afford to try and shut it down with just the 2 of them.
Look at the items right now for Dane. He has Mana Moon and BF Sword. If FIT contests for this Herald, UST is gonna have one big of a secret weapon waiting. Look at this TP is up for him. He's waiting. He's TPing now.
Getting at the wings here, and the setups for these traps here to make sure that FIT's escape routes are... oh, that's going to be huge damage here. That is the Hextech ultimatum here, putting down damage, but Dane from the sides with a culling, make
Dane
sure
dashed in.
Dane dashed in, but he's gonna get knocked away here, but with enough time for Michael to recover from that and get out the damage onto Yato and Jovan. But Tenebria and Crescio, they're dealing a lot of damage. Yato and Jovan have to be careful here. One wrong move, that's light binding, will take them down, and I think that is going to be the Eye of the Rift Herald secured by Crescio, but with FIT taking 3 kills for 2 deaths.
Yeah, that team fight was definitely won by FIT. Unfortunately, they weren't able to secure the Rift Herald for themselves, like you said. But something to take note, Dane, I absolutely disagree with what he did there. Dashing into the pit. If he played it patiently, all of FIT there, they were just stuck there, and he could have just like kited them out. But yeah, first tower is about to fall too for the side of UST. So again, that's gonna
okay, not gonna...
one more
makes it. Oh, okay. They do get the first turret of the game there, and Tenebria will be happy with that. So it's gonna be quite exciting here for UST.
Yeah, speaking of UST, their MLBB team. Did you know Dane also plays for the UST's MLBB team? So double talented pala to si Dane. Sana all.
And yeah, he plays as an offlane or side lane for MLBB, and since he is a top lane here, a lot of the skills really overlap. And what he specializes in is making space for his team so that they can get a lead. And it seems like here, though, he's taking a more proactive, not like he's not proactive in MLBB, but the fact that here he's playing a more active carry role rather than a pressure role. And that goes to show that his skills here, and that might show up here with Dane and Michael going for a kill onto this Jhin. Teleport coming through from Infinity, though, might be too late. Michael is going to sacrifice his life 1-for-1 at the cost of Pao getting more waves shoved in the top side and mid. Finales Falcon final spark will secure that kill and makes it doubly worth it for UST. And look at that top lane getting pushed in hard with a Triforce coming from that from Pao.
Yeah, it's doubly worth it because Herald's gonna be spawned for bottom lane as well, and I have a feeling this tower's gonna go down too. So it's gonna be mid tier 1 tower as well as bottom lane tier 1 tower as well after that one team fight. So as we were talking about Dane's prowess as an esports player, he's showing up right now. That CS differential's really big, and gold is in his pockets right now. He's 1v1 against Joe, but
I think he's just dead here.
Yeah, I don't think he spotted that TP, or even if he spotted that teleport.
They got 2 turrets down, but the problem is that he's not here for the Mountain Drake, which could be huge for FIT. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
I think that they're gonna concede this.
The thing is, how can they trade something else for that? This top lane isn't really too close to getting destroyed, but at the very least here for FIT, I think Cloud Drake is vital there, but Mountain isn't too big on the FIT comp right now. So it's either gonna be it is gonna be Infernal Drake here, which is huge for UST. They're the ones that like pulling the trigger, the ones that like being aggressive. And if they can secure the next few Infernal Drakes, that's gonna be a lot of damage, not only on the carries, but Cresho as well on that Lux.
Right, and all of them are actually sources of damage. Compared to last game, Cresho last game was on a Leona. Now he's on a Lux, even with Ignite. So that's something very peculiar in my opinion, because as Lux, you don't really want to go face to face and use that Ignite. Probably go for an exhausted protect your ADC, but just to add to the argument, if they say okay, so just tickle right there onto Yato.
That final spark
Uh,
does have a quite a short range, and I don't think they're raring to fight just yet. There's nothing really to fight for in the middle part of the map. All they need to do is, like I said, pressure the side lanes, keep shoving them, and get an advantage slowly but surely.
Yeah, and speaking of getting an advantage, I think that FIT need to somewhat look for their next play, because Yato is the member of the squad right now with most of the gold. Ooh.
Oh, it's gonna be the culling here. I don't think it's not gonna amount to much just yet. But Pau trading with Jovan in this lane. They're this could be a dive with Michael as where hookshot comes in but misses. But they do steal the Stand United. Infinity dodges, has to flash out of that death sentence as he's slowed down with the curtain call. And I think both of these teams are just looking for an opening here to get these big turrets. And Pau and Michael, you have to be careful here. They're spending an awful lot of time exposing themselves in this top side, and that's gonna call Yato Infinity over to try and disrupt.
Yeah, and despite the advantage of Jarvan over Michael, Michaels has done a really good job keeping up in farm, even being 13 CS up despite those 4 deaths to his name. So Yato right now rather, here in the top lane, trying to see if he can do something right here.
He is 4-1-4, but he is not building that grenade Jarvan where you just go in with lots of damage and dunk them, because he is not at Cinderhawk. He's building tankier items. This 4-1-4 score is actually a lot less relevant than FIT would want. Rift Herald is gonna spawn. It's a big objective in such a macro-oriented game here for UST. Looks like they're just shoving in the waves to make sure that they have space for this Herald soon.
Yep, and it seems like FIT does plan to contest for this Herald. I think that it's still an advantage over to the UST side in terms of item states, but if FIT managed to play this fight well...
How together with Michael going in, where's the rest of their team following up Infinity? This is a very scattered fight for UST. Pau needs to run away. Infinity gets taken down. Dane dealing a lot of damage in this front line. Can he get the last shot onto Yato? No, stun goes through onto the Cresho here. Michael in a little bit of trouble, but he's gonna get saved by Dane, but the Chrono Shift comes through. It is gonna be Du though, fighting it out with this Camille. He is gonna get killed in the end, but Tenebria, can he make something happen? He is. This is a target-rich environment for this one. Yato just barely dodging away. The Blasco not enough to get the kill onto this Camille. So far, it is a 3-4-2 FIT. Looking for a kill here. Very dangerous. If he gets stunned here, that could mean the end of it. But Owen and Jovan escaped just barely with their lives, and more importantly, with the Rift Herald in their hands.
Yeah, good play for FIT right there. UST actually the team to form a perimeter around FIT during that team fight, and I think that's what gave them a fighting chance. I feel like the Stand United onto Pau, that initial play from UST could have been much better, because it didn't really amount to a lot. Didn't amount to a big advantage for them for that team fight. So FIT kind of caught a break in a way.
A little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, because UST usually executes really perfectly, though, when it comes to things like this. So there's still a fighting chance. Third Drake gonna spawn soon. It's again gonna be an Infernal Drake. So if a repeat happens, but wait.
How though? Look at that damage coming in from that Camille! And this is Michael coming through. Lots of damage from the time bombs as well. And with their main damage leader down, I think FIT has to concede this Infernal Drake and give up soul pressure. And UST though, gonna build up this Infernal Breaks. This is very important for this comp. Let's see what they can do to extend their lead.
I'm kind of getting war flashbacks, Hyron, from last game. Do you remember how they secured 3 Infernal Breaks
Yes.
for themselves? And if they do it again, then I'm not too I'm the outlook for
Optimistic, yeah.
FIT is it's not that optimistic, like you said.
Yeah. Could be very bleak here of FIT, but they have shown that they have a fighting chance. And despite the janky comp here, it seems to be working well as long as Duo can get the damage out and they defend him. This 446 Jin with a Chrono Shift basically has 2 lives, and they have to bank everything on him and make sure that he's able to do damage. What UST can do here is force O to use a Chrono Shift on himself. If they can pressure that, that means Duo is just free range for UST.
Yeah, definitely. However, although FIT has been putting up a good fight, when you look at the overall goal disparity, it is almost it's just shy above 4K right now in favor of UST. So again, scoreline is misleading, and right now UST has a pretty substantial advantage. And as long as the game continues to prolong, all of these carries are gonna get stronger, and all of the champion picks of FIT, they're just gonna basically serve as frontline, and they're just gonna UST is just gonna dash around them.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really tough here for FIT. But you can tell that the game plan is there. They focus everything on keeping Du alive. Du seems to be their secret weapon here. Ame, support main, was playing earlier, but thus the Senna. But let's see now, Du a lot more comfortable on this marksman role. Let's see if he can make magic happen for the iTamaraws.
Yep, and it seems like Magic is what they really need to come back with 1 win for themselves in this best of 5. Again, the winner of this best of 5 series is going to advance into the playoffs and face off against Holy Angel University. So it's clutch time right now for FIT. In order for them to give themselves a fighting chance, they really have to push the pedal to the metal here.
Yeah, that's true. Overexert themselves. For now, what they need to do is remove their limiters. Basically, I don't want to make another. I don't want to make a Corona basket reference here, but let's use other animes now. But yeah, FIT, they truly need to make something happen for him. It all centers around how they play around Duke and how he executes it. This is gonna be pulling the trigger, possibly on Tenebria. Curtain call coming through. Crescio though, his target is Duke. Gonna try and assassinate him, but he's gonna get gulped down by O. The Stand United that was stolen is now in the hands of Crescio, and this could be a re-engage coming in from the Teletigers. Subscon gets flashed away. FIT looking to go back in though. Flag and drag onto Tenebria. Cataclysm still available, but Tenebria is just shredding this tank at this point. Still very, very healthy with Dane at the sidelines. With a drive-by, the culling comes through. Turn onto Delusion, rightfully so.
Oh
but
boy.
they are, this is still no kills on the side of UST. These Stand United in this Chrono Shift, giving them lots and lots of value. And FIT, it looks like they're playing this comp to the best of their abilities, but Pao was not there during that fight. And,
Right, and
yeah.
really well played there for FIT, really punishing the positional mistakes of UST right there. And I caught a glimpse that they're not afraid of pulling the trigger at this point in time, and that's a really good sign. As this 4th Drake of the game is about to spawn, I'm really praying that FIT managed to secure this Drake for themselves, because if it falls into UST's hands, it's just adding an additional difficulty level for them in order to win this game.
How FIT has been winning is just from the resilience of their comp. Like, as long as they're keeping Du alive, they're doing their jobs. But if UST gets 2 Infernals, that means that FIT shreds the front line better. Du is in a more vulnerable state as well, potentially getting maybe assassinated with a drive-by from Dane. Has to be extremely careful. And Crescio gets that Scuttle Crab. That could be huge in the next upcoming team fight.
Yeah, that could be a turning point, especially UST's team being composed of really high mobility champions. That's gonna help out even more, and looks like Pao is making his way over to the Dragon Pit. They really want this Infernal Drake. Pao does have a flank, but look at this. FIT is trying to set up an ambush.
Yeah. If they can pincer him, it would be nice. But it's really just Pao clearing the mid wave. Flag comes through Demasian Standard. And FIT trying to go for a Death Rush play here. Will UST fall for it? They're already halfway through the Infernal Drake. This does get secured by UST, and this is going to be the Yato pulling the trigger here with Michael in the middle. The Chrono Shift is getting stolen. This leaves Michael with a lot of breathing room here. It does wear off, but immediate kill onto Yato. That is going to be golden time for him, and Dane and Michael, they're going to be dealing a lot of damage here. Pao just needs to survive for now. Deadly Flourish does not come through this group, and it's going to be UST securing this Drake with a very nice 3k as well, showing FIT that they're still dominant in this game. They're still the ones in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that was a really well-played team fight from UST right there. Really actually making use of Lux. The shields came in as such an important
Michael,
factor.
though.
Michael.
This is Epscon.
Oh,
he might die here.
Yeah, goodbye, Michael.
Is that the signal for UST to get out of this Baron, knowing that Michael
Yep.
was killed? Yeah, I think so. Quite a big blunder there coming from Michael. Basically denies his own team the Baron. I think he was just trying to make space for himself by pressuring FIT, but without Scon missing and him behind the turret, it's gonna be tough. I think UST just needs to continue establishing vision dominance in this Baron pit.
Yep, and I think Michael just needs to put on the brakes a little bit. He does have half of his team's deaths right now, and you don't really want to see that on your jungler, Silas, on that. So I think UST just has to keep playing cleanly, and they should come out on top here. Already 2 Infernal Drakes to their name.
Yeah, that's like I said. I think these fights are becoming more and more in UST's favor because of those Infernal Drakes. The more that Dane and Tenebria scale up, the more that these Infernal Drakes are going to have value, and it's just extending the 6k gold lead or 7k gold lead that UST has, because those are huge percentage stats. The longer the game goes, the bigger the gold value of those Infernal Drakes will be. This is Baron, the apple of their eye. They have to be extremely careful.
Definitely. Something to point out though in FIT's favor, actually decided to pick up that Magi Soul Stealer already in 14
damage.
And
No,
that
that's
is damage that they are in dire need of, to put it bluntly, in order to take down the individual members of UST. But they are now on the Baron.
Darn it, they do have 2 marksmen coming out on this. Will they try and commit on this, or will they pull out after FIT tries to disrupt? They're not finishing it just yet. They're taking a lot of damage. Their resistances are getting shredded by the Baron. I think they're just gonna have to finish it here. And with no contest, it comes through. Cataclysm onto Crescio. That is gonna be the Shadow Dash here. Crescio will almost fall down. He will get assaulted here by Jovan. With Dane though, and Tenebria with the marksman in the back line, they're gonna shred this Yato up, and UST Teletigers in the front line with Michael and Pao. They are able to buy enough time for their marksmen to come through, and this is going to be a clean ace here in the hands of UST. 2 members down with a Baron in their hands. 2 marksmen are alive. This could mean a huge dent in the base of FIT. That turret was 1 shot away. They're knocking on FIT's door. They're looking to nail the coffin in with 1 inhibitor. Let's see. 20 seconds on the death timers of Jovan and Yato. 10 seconds. Will they go straight for it? They don't have a way pushing in onto the bottom lane. I don't think they can end just yet, but if they can get 1 Nexus turret, that's huge pressure on the side of UST.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really interesting team fight right there. Actually, yeah, it started out as Yato coming in, flag and dragging into the Baron pit, but he was too late. The Baron was already taken, but he continued on to lay down a really clean Cataclysm onto 2 or 3 members of UST. Shen came in along with him, got an early kill, but Michael was able to... Michael, along with Pao, was really able to buy really good time for UST to get back a strong foothold for their team. Yeah. But in the end, just individual Micro, I believe, was able to turn that fight around and allow UST to win that.
Yeah, I think what also happened there was because UST, FIT was basically split in the fight, with Yato and Jovan full committing onto the backline. That means Pau and Michael's job was to hold off and deal damage to FIT to make sure that Tenebri and Dane can back in the fight. Because those two tanks, yes, they did get a kill onto Cresho, but they don't have enough damage to actually take down Tenebri and Dane. So UST really playing to the win conditions for each team fight that they're going into. The tactics that they're employing are all centered around the strategy that they've crafted. And here FIT maybe try and get an ambush onto Pau, but Hookshot is going to secure it, and that's another turret taken down. And with Dane pushing down with Baron up minions on this Lucian, this could be 2 inhibitors down for FIT. That means 2 nails in the coffin for the iTamaraws.
Yeah, man, Pau just creating so much space for UST right there. Flash though being burned by Tenebria.
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
a good
double
light
bind.
binding, but Cataclysm comes through for Cresho. Redemption to try and buy themselves some time, and of course Dane just dashes out of the Cataclysm. Tenebria on a rampage and kills this Jarvan. Jarvan with a nice shadow dash with a flash. Shutdown goes to Do, but Dane will be on cleanup crew as Jarvan is running for his life. Stand United takes of his own medicine. This Lucian is demolishing FIT. Dane popping off, and FIT 3 inhibitors down, 1 Nexus turret destroyed, 1 very vulnerable with 2 waves pushing in. Can O be the last bastion of hope? Can he turn back time for his team and save the series? He has been revived, gets the stun on the 3-man, but the ace comes through, and UST finishes this series 3-0 clean with 3 Infernal Drakes. All the damage, all the aggressiveness. FIT are proven to be the prey in this dynamic.
Man, that was a really explosive final team fight for FIT between FIT and UST. That was a back and forth. Definitely with Shen landing that taunt flash, double binding from Cresho, back and forth, but it was just too difficult. Dane on that Lucian was able to kite really well, dish out so much damage, all while Pao and Camille was still in the bottom side split pushing. So although the team fight really seemed close, that that what I'm trying to say, but
It's just the
overall
margin. Yeah.
it was just really dominating performance from UST, and it shows they deserve to win this best of 5 3-0.
And really, that just goes to show how uh, proficient the Teletigers are. They know it's close. Even though they were quite ahead, they knew that FIT still had a fighting chance. So it's really the micro with the macro combined, and that's really what allows the Teletigers to play the margins and get ahead when it's cutting it close. But I'm really interested to see how our analyst desk have to say about this, because Uomi, of course, I'm sure he's very proud of his team. But we're looking to see what insights Kellogg and Ventus have to bring to the table as well. And of course, they're going to have a player interview from a player of the UST Teletigers. We have been your shoutcasters for this best of 5 series. I'm Hyron. With me is Berserk. Take it away for the interview, Uomi and the gang.
Wow. Yan nagpatalo sa panic eh. Nagpizza sila bago nang...
Okay.
Go for it.
My edge crashed. Oh shit.
And welcome back to Predator Alliance League 2020 Summer Analyst Deck. Bakit managi ako nagkakamali? Analyst Desk. I'm joined by Ventus, Kellogg, and one of Teletigers players over here, Dane. Kamusta ka naman, Dane? Okay ka naman ba dyan?
Okay lang naman.
Alright. And Ventus, Kellogg, you just witnessed a 3-0 sweep. I mean, Dane, he did that with his friends and his team, but Kellogg, Ventus, let's start again from the bans. Ano ba nangyari sa Game 3 na to? I mean, it is a sweep. And this is UST's 3rd win in a row. And the bans, I'd say that FIT respected the solo lane so much. All of the bans coming in from FIT were all targeted towards one, of course, the Akali flex pick, but the solo lanes to be in general. But of course, Kellogg, ano bang sa tingin mong nangyari sa banning phase na yun?
Yeah, so for the banning phase, for sure, like what you said, nirespeto na ng FIT yung UST. Alam na nila nandiyan na yung IAF roster ng UST. They really have to do that. And with the adjustment of having to ban the Yone, the Akali, they had actually Caitlyn open, and Tenebria was finally on a carry on in that game, and paired with Gracious Locks, it was just insane. But um, also for the rest of the picks, we also saw a Camille mid going for Teletigers, which we actually didn't expect. Like there was like a B3 Silas, if I'm not mistaken, and we didn't expect that it go to the jungle. I remember Vetus like saying that there were no good ults yet. There was only Jin, Shen, and Thresh. Then they were we were really surprised with that B3 Silas. But of course, yung last pick ng UST was of course Dane with us here. Yung Lucian niya na nilabas niya na sobrang carry performance on that.
Yep. And Ventus, you told me earlier that nakakuha ng Caitlyn ng UST, and this is very important. How important was it in terms of the drafting phase na?
I think Caitlyn is one of the more OP top tier ADCs at the moment. Tapos banned pa yung Ashe at that time. So I think Fit had no other choice but to stick with the Jin to try to match the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
I do have to say though that I like the Thresh pick into the Lux. I feel like they needed the aggression dun sa lane. Kundi mag-scale lang yung Caitlyn into the late game.
Yeah, and dahil nga nabanggit mo na rin yung Thresh pick na yon against the Lux, we did see a first blood. Papanoorin natin yun mamaya. Huwag muna. Let's talk about the picks first. Of course, let's mention Du came in for FIT. He is the AD carry for FIT for the past few games in group stages. And Amis subbed in for the first two games. And finally, we see Du in action. And they even got a lane win early on with that threshold coming in from Infinity. And I heard even one of the people behind EAA saying that Infinity was performing out of his mind on that thresh. But Kellogg, you had some comments over Silas Jungle and the DPS of FIT. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so looking for the first three picks of FIT, we do have the Jin, the Shen, and Thresh, and this is already calling for having a DPS, hopefully, in the second round. UST did ban Wukong and Mordekaiser. Those aren't DPS picks. Like, I'm pretty sure FIT could have drafted more damage in R4 and R5, and the Zillion pick was just really weird because they already know there's a Silas. The Silas could steal that away. That's for one. And number two, Zillion damage isn't really something that you can always rely on. And they do get a weird R5 Jarvan. And I remember us asking earlier, like, what season is this where you have a Jarvan jungle once again? And FIT just really lacking the damage, and the Silas could just get really good ultimates from those last two picks, which is really weird since it was a P3 pick.
Yeah, but before we go towards your thoughts, Ventus, Dane, you guys picked the Camille mid. This is rarely seen throughout competitive meta right now. What were you thinking nung kinuha nyo yung Camille mid na yun?
Actually, sinabi lang ni PJ na gusto niya mag-Tamil mid. Kaya yun, nilaki namin.
So it was out of comfort and out of something na ginusto lang talaga ni Pao.
Actually, ini-spam niya yan sa solo queue. Tapos nung sinabi niya gusto niya i-pick, nilaki na namin agad.
I see. So, sa tingin mo, trust plays a big factor in locking in that Camille, even if hindi siya meta?
Yeah, usually pinipick lang namin yung gusto namin i-pick. So, yun lang naman.
I see. So, Ventus, based on what Dane said, na pinik nila yung Camille mid because they trusted Pao and pinipick lang nila talaga nila kung anong gusto nilang i-pick. You did say earlier, actually, I mean, sa ating conversation that FIT lacks damage. Can you talk more about that?
Well, based on yung draft ng FIT, yung main source of damage nila talaga is Jin. And sa draft ng UST, they have a lot of ways to dive the backline. So I really think that Fit's draft is really not that well for their final game today.
I see. So, in your thoughts, really now draft lang ang FIT in this final game. I mean, it is still a sweep, and for you, nabanggit mo na rin naman that FIT really lost this draft, and I think it's a unanimous decision based on what I know as well. Kellogg, why do you think UST won the draft?
I think UST won the draft just because of sheer flair and style that they were able to pick what they want for their laners. Especially like yeah, Dane was over like performing well on Lucian, and I like what he mentioned that Camille into the Zillion pick. I'm pretty sure like Zillion is kind of passive and early, and Camille can do a lot of proactive plays. And with that in mind, like all the lanes for Teletigers was winning, and that enabled the Silas to do whatever he wanted because he might be a weak jungler, but when he has strong laners, he can do a lot of things.
Yeah, but since ito na nga, nandito na tayo sa point that we talked about the pick and ban phase, let's go back to for a few key moments in Game 3. I mean, this is UST's game that took them to the final. So let's go back to our first replay over here. Nabanggit na natin kanina, this was the first blood in the bottom lane where FIT, wait a minute, yeah, FIT actually secured their first blood. And take note, this is Du's first game. Kellogg, what happened in this bottom lane?
Yeah, so I think Crusher just walked up way too hard, and ayun na nga, nahook ni Infinity si Crusher. And this goes like first blood to the Jhin, and even though this is like a Jhin favored matchup, because apparently when you use the Q of Jhin, it can probably reach Caitlyn, and that's like the kind of poke, and the utility that Jhin brings can also match Caitlyn. And having the first blood there to someone who's just subbed in to maybe change the mental that FIT had, like since maybe Ame's been their Senna's not been working with Ame in, and maybe this could have been the game changer for FIT. However, we do see later on in the series that this may have not been like a really big change because they still lost.
Yeah, but I mean din, nung na first blood si Crescio sa bottom lane, were you a little bit thinking bothered by it? I mean, namatay yung presumably one of the players to look out for sa bottom lane.
Hindi. Actually, tinatawanan pa namin si Crescio kasi namatay siya ng early.
Oh, so basically you took it lightly. That first blood, you took it lightly and moved on, yes?
Yes.
I see. So I think that really plays a big part to relieve a little bit of stress. I mean, the first blood guy, normally you wouldn't be happy about it, pero looking at the way you accepted it, napakaganda. I feel like that was a good thing. But Ventus, as a bot laner as well, I mean, you're a support main, played support for DLSU. Landing that hook, giving your AD carry first blood, but still losing lane somehow, or losing the game somehow. What does it make you feel?
Actually, personally, nakakasira siya ng mental kapag maganda yung laro mo tapos your team is, let's say, not up to par with your own performance.
I see. I mean, that's pretty simple, but man, let's fast forward to the bit of end of the game na. Malapit na tayo matapos dito where UST secured the Baron and went for a very good team fight as well. What happened here, Ventus?
Well, here, as mentioned a while ago, you can see na parang medyo back and forth yung team fight. But makikita nyo na eventually Fit would lack the damage needed to win the team fight against UST.
Yeah, but I think Kellogg, you've digested this quite well. Do you remember what you told me earlier? I mean, the viewers really need to digest what happened here. This is the Baron and the game-winning team fight as well.
Yeah, so at this point, I remember I think Michael overdove even before this, like it was almost a throw, and this was already the game deciding like Baron. Yeah, I was just really surprised na I think FIT could have possibly conceded this and maybe tried to defend their base, but I guess they know that it's do or die, kaya pinasok nila dito.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what happened in this fight as well, this is really the deciding fight in this game. Talagang 14-16 to Looking at the gold lead, it's quite medyo malaki na yung disparity, but still, this is a very close team fight. Du had all the time that he needed to free hit in the backline, but then again, it's a Jhin. It's not really meant to hyper carry. So far, yeah, this is a sweep for UST. Dane, what was going through your mind as you kept winning games? Did you see this as a small step going towards the finals, or nagwa-wander off na ba yung mga utak nyo kanina doon?
Actually, gusto lang talaga namin matapos agad. Pero, nag-put up a good fight yung FIT. Kaya medyo tumagal.
So, here's a more wholesome question, Dane. if ngayon na natalo nyo yung FIT, it's a 3-0 sweep. Medyo mababa siguro yung moral ng mga kalaban nyo. Do you have like a small message to say to FIT?
Try nyo lang yung best nyo lagi. Actually, lalakas kayo ng lalakas hanggat gagrind kayo. As 5.
Actually, grinding really is the thing that makes people stronger over there. Ventus, Kellogg, any final thoughts regarding the entirety of this series? Kellogg, go muna.
I think I remember our predictions are all deciding na Teletigers 3-0 nga, but we did see FIT trying to fight back even with like for the first 2 games si Ame yung 80 carry, the Senna didn't play out, and nakita naman natin na they can fight back. It's just that they need to probably be more decisive later on, but as you can see that FIT is not a weak team naman, but the Teletigers just really played it better today.
All right, Ventus, how about you?
Yeah, may times naman na mukhang may glimmers of hope for FIT that they could take the lead, but then yun nga, I think yung experience talaga ng UST, then the difference in skills of players really showed in the series, so that's the result of the game.
All right, Dane, final question for you before we end the segment. Dane, you will face HAU for the first time in the finals. Hindi kayo nagkita ng group stages even if you were in the same group because of the default. What's your mindset or what's the overall tone of the team going into the matchup against HAU?
Sorry pa ulit ng tanong.
Okay, it's gonna be the first time na malalabanan nyo yung HAU sa finals. I mean, you're in the same group, hindi kayo nagkita because of the default. First week, dapat kayo yung maglalaban. But now, magkikita na kayo. Finally, what's your mindset entering that matchup?
Actually, magpe-prepare lang kami ng mental kasi hindi pa namin sila nalalabanan ever, I think.
Okay, so mental preparation will be the key. But in terms of abilities, do you think that it will be a hard task to fulfill? I mean, this is the finals of Predator Alliance League 2020 Summer. Do you think that this will be significantly harder than any battle you've faced in the entirety of this league?
Sa experience namin, feel ko hindi. Actually, sobrang comfortable namin as 5. So, feeling ko hindi kami mahirapan labanan yung HAU sa finals.
All right, that's some big words to say, and I hope to see that confidence entering that matchup will still persist. That's a big thing to have entering the best of 5 finals. Again, we are the analyst desk for the series between FIT and UST. My name is Uomi. Together with me is Kellogg, Ventus, and Dane from Teletigers. And in behalf of Ferzerk and Hyron, we hope to see you next time. This has been Predator Alliance League 2020 Summer, and we will see you in the grand finals.